Hello everyone, welcome to a bit of a more technical video here. I want to go over kind of how to sign up for a Masters Tour qualifier and a couple of tips and tricks that I've learned about using the Battlefy program altogether. Use a couple of these tips to help get you into your match a little bit more smoothly. First thing is how to actually enter one of these tournaments. We'll walk through the steps and then I can show you the Battlefy page. So the first thing here is the actual Battlefy Masters qualifier page. I will have that link in the description below that you can use, but what you can see is which Masters Tour this is for. It shows the qualifying period as well as when the actual event is. If you keep scrolling down, you can change the week, you can change the various regions that you can play on, scroll down to the date you would like to select, and whichever tournament you would like to join. So it now brings you to the Battlefy page for that specific tournament. You can see up in the top right corner, it shows how many people are registered and the maximum amount of players. And underneath that, you can hit the join tournament. It initially brings up these critical rules. You can look through and find very detailed information if you open these and go through those. And down in the bottom right corner, you just hit next. This will show you your Battle.net account. If you have not connected that, they have a link you can click. Once you've done that, you only ever need to do it once as long as you're logged in, and it automatically pops up for any future tournaments there for you. Again, just hit next, and it will just tell you if you are eligible for the tournament. Then it brings you to the next part of the registration, which is putting in your Discord name. In Discord, if you just hover over your name in the bottom left corner, you can just click on it and it will copy it, and then you can go back to your page. I usually just do Control V and next. Now it brings you to the deck screen. You can enter your decks now if you're ready to, or they actually do have a skip option, and then it brings you to this main page here, and it will show you a list of everybody who has entered, how long you have until the check-in starts, which for these Masters Tour qualifiers are 30 minutes before the actual tournament starts. And then down below you can see edit your deck lists, and if you click that, it just brings you back to that same page for you to enter the decks. One thing I will note is that, at least for these, it does specify here, you must have 3 decks to check in. You are required to have decks in those deck spots before you can check in, but you can just fill something in, just enter some deck codes, check in, and then you can change them if you need to. You can change those decks all the way up until the tournament starts. Just make sure that you do have the decks correct in the Battlefy page that you will be playing for the tournament, because that can lead to disqualification if you are playing a list different than what is shown in Battlefy. If you're having trouble getting back to the specific tournament that you're in, you can go over on the left here and click Joined Tournaments, and it will bring up a list of tournaments that you are entered for, but that are still coming up, as well as past tournaments. And each one has a link to go to the specific tournament. So you can click that and it will bring you right back to that tournament page. Now I'd like to jump back to a previous qualifier that I was in and kind of show you a little bit of tricks that I've learned on how to use the bracket to find your match. So if you click the bracket, you kind of get this initial screen. It seems very intimidating. There's a lot. And when these are filled, there is a lot going on here. So the first thing that I will show you that I kind of just did here, you can use the mouse wheel. The mouse wheel lets you scroll through this incredibly quickly. You can also click and drag it, but that is much, much slower if you're trying to look for something specific. You can zoom in and out here. So zooming out can also be very helpful. You can zoom out pretty far and then use the mouse wheel if you'd like to try to get to a certain point in the bracket. But one of the most helpful things that I have found is actually this search bar. It does not allow you, unfortunately, to search for a specific match number. So you do have to search just for the player name. I will use mine for an example. And the great thing here is that it does a couple of things. When you search that, you can see over on the right-hand side, it actually brings up the specific matches. So you can see here, round 1, I was in match 242. You can then find that on the bracket. You can click on these to actually go to the specific match page, and I'll show that in just one moment. But the great thing as well, when you search a name, it does highlight it in the bracket. So it highlights those matches, any matches that that player was in. But I have found that being able to search for a specific name is the absolute most helpful thing for me. If you are currently in a match, it will actually have the option on that right-hand side to go to the match, or you can just click it and it will bring you right there to the match page. Inside this match screen is also where you will do the ban. You can report the scores during a match, or chat between yourself and the other player, or even a private admin chat. And there is always the report match issue if you do have some sort of issue. Now, one other thing that I did want to mention is on the main just overview page of these links is if you go down to the bottom, contact, here is the link for the actual qualifying Discord. You can join, and the admins are always in there to be able to ask questions or get help if you need further assistance there as well. And the last thing I kind of mentioned right at the beginning of the video is how to get kind of to that initial page. If you want to find more of the tournaments, you can follow specific organizers on the Battlefy page. But if you want to get back to that main page that I showed at the very beginning of the video in order to sign up for even more tournaments, you actually can just click right on their name there, HS Esports. Click that, and it redirects you back to this original page, and you can sign up for more tournaments from there. But if you have found any other tips or things that are very helpful to you when signing up for these tournaments or using the Battlefy page itself, I would love to hear about it. Let me know in the comments down below. Or if you found any of these tips useful, again, I would love to hear about it in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. Good luck in the qualifiers.